how does Decentraland look right now? Decentraland looks extremely bullish, and I'm going to break down exactly why, right? So first we got our 50% correction all the way down to our 2x margin pressure level. This is where the incentive to sell or to short Mana completely dissipated, completely went away, caused a bounce, not once, not twice, but 3 times in this region. Personally, this is where I entered, $2.98. We got this initial bounce, and I started to see the green price action come in, and I got in at $2.98. Now, could I have sold up here or up here? Yeah, and taken a small profit, right, on 3x leverage. That would have been a 30% trade, or even a let's see, even an opportunity to take a 66% trade, right? But I haven't sold yet because Mana is looking very, very bullish. And if I'm a buyer at $2.98, when it comes all the way down, I don't want to be a seller at this exact same level, especially when we're making higher lows and higher highs. Higher lows and higher highs. Now, here's the thing with Mana is if you didn't buy down here on these entry points, on the horizontal support, or on the bump and run, like we've been talking about, putting yourself in a bit of a tricky circumstance right now, because you're putting yourself in a circumstance where we could see a head and shoulders form on the 4-hour, right? And this head and shoulders would probably be the byproduct of Bitcoin getting some resistance in its structure that we're about to break down, and potentially going down to either retest 46K like it did earlier today, or going as low as 44, 42K. That could manifest in Mana going lower, right? So altcoins are trading a little bit in line with Bitcoin, but the difference is the quality altcoins are pumping when Bitcoin moves up just a little bit. When Bitcoin moves up just a little bit, Bitcoin's up 1.27% today. Right, Mana's up 1.5%. Luna's up 3%, putting in all-time highs today. AVAX up 7%. Helium up 7%. So when Bitcoin's giving up a little bit of room and looking just the slightest bit bullish, the altcoins, the quality altcoins, are using that as an opportunity to pump. Right. So one of the first things I said after we crashed on December 4th was that Bitcoin is probably going to consolidate onto 46K, at or around 46K. And that is exactly what has happened. We've tested below 46K 3 times now. All 3 times we've gotten pumps off of this 46K test. The reason why we're getting these pumps is because as soon as Bitcoin's price drops below $46,000, that's where the sell pressure dissipates. You can't short Bitcoin on 3x leverage and hide your liquidation point above its all-time high, right? Once the Bitcoin price drops below 46K, right? We've got tons of trend lines. This looks like a busy chart, but what you want to watch for a macro reversal here in Bitcoin, right? And I still think that altcoins are going to continue to do well. Some specific altcoins will continue to do well, even if Bitcoin spills off, right? Because I believe we're in a bit of a decoupling, bit of a divergent market. We're seeing altcoins break out, right? We're still, in my opinion, in an altcoin bull market until we see altcoin market dominance break the structure that we're about to look at in just a second. But for Bitcoin, if you want to see an overall macro reversal in Bitcoin, there's a couple levels you want to watch out for. You want to watch out for the breaking of this trend line, this downtrend line, which we're on the 4-hour chart here. If I zoom out, it becomes very, very clear. This is the consolidation, right? This is our consolidation onto 46K off of, right, this December 4th drop. These highs, we want to break this downtrend line. We also want to make a higher high. So if off of this pump, you see Bitcoin go above $48,289, which would have been the last local high, and break through this downtrend line, that would be very, very bullish in the short term for Bitcoin, meaning that it can likely continue on higher. If we get rejected at either this level, 48,200, or at this downtrend line, expect for us to go back down and probably test 46K again, which could result in a drop below. The good news is that with this drop, most recent drop to 46K, even though it was very close, if we zoom in here, we actually made a slightly higher low. And essentially what we have here is the wicks come down to slightly different amounts, but it's roughly speaking a triple bottom on the 4 hour. Triple bottoms are usually pretty bullish. However, we are still in a bearish pattern of lower highs, even though we've been making even lows. Now, if we zoom out here a little bit, where would I expect Bitcoin to come down to if we do breach 46K? 44K. We'd probably jump down to 44K and find a bounce. If Bitcoin breaks down to 44K, that is the simultaneous level in which you're going to be wanting to, to look out for several altcoin entries, right? A drop in Bitcoin from where it's at today, if I can get my indicator here, our measurement tool, would only be 6 or 7%. It would only take a 6 or 7% drop for Bitcoin to get to 44K. That's not very much. Bitcoin could absolutely do that. From the 46K level that we were at earlier this morning, it would be a 4% drop, right? So that could be what gives you better entry points on Mana, on Luna, on AVAX, potential pullbacks. Now, I'm not terribly worried about the market right now. In fact, I'm actually pretty greedy right now. You want to be greedy? You want to be greedy down here, and you want to be fearful up here, right? If you're feeling fear right now, it's in large part probably due to some sort of mismanagement of risk in your portfolio. If you're feeling fear, you're probably too exposed or have too much risk in some way or another. This is total cryptocurrency market cap. This is something that I like to show almost every time I do a segment. And that's because this parabolic increase, this parabolic move upwards in 2017 was preceded or interrupted halfway in between by two almost 50% corrections. Almost 50% corrections followed up by a parabolic move up to $836 billion in total cryptocurrency market cap. Now, if we look and zoom in over here, our most recent corrections have been 38%, and the one we're in now was kind of peaked at 34%. So we know that we can drop up to 50% and still see a parabolic rally. So I'm personally wanting to take advantage of these 30, 40% corrections, especially when speculation in the market in terms of altcoins is still very, very high. Altcoin dominance hasn't flinched. In fact, it's been going up. It's broken out of this multi-month consolidation pattern. It's come up above this continuation pattern, made support on top of it, yet another bump and run pattern, and looks to be either consolidating up here into a breakout or potentially back downwards. I think it's far more likely that we see in a second alt season, we see altcoins break upwards from here. If you look at TVL, Avalanche TVL sitting very, very healthily has recently flipped Solana's TVL. I know this is small here. I can try to zoom in, but $12.73 billion locked in the Avalanche ecosystem right now. Terra Luna, $17.66 billion locked in Terra Luna, predominantly in Anchor protocol and liquid staking protocols, right? $7.5 billion and $5.23 billion respectively. That's very bullish. This doesn't happen in a bear market, right? People are calling bear market, but we're seeing parabolic growth in the TVL on Terra Luna. That just isn't characteristic of a bear market at all. In fact, it's making me very bullish. Solana has been slipping in TVL. And my belief on that is probably because Solana is not EVM compatible at the moment. And right now, EVM compatibility is a big benefactor towards layer one solutions, right? I know Terra Luna isn't either, but it's kind of more in stable coins, right? I want to go through just a couple more entry points. Terra Luna putting in an all-time high today, despite the market, despite Bitcoin testing a low today around 46K, right? We want to be taking advantage of these dips and these bump and run patterns. We don't have to overcomplicate it. Anybody can draw these trend lines. Anybody can come in and identify, right, when a downtrend is broken. When a downtrend is broken, that's a very bullish sign. Terra Luna broke its downtrend, moving up higher. Now, you could justify jumping into Terra Luna as a trade. Now, keep in mind, because we are overextended against our long-term trend line in total cryptocurrency market cap, Personally, I like to be thinking in shorter term timeframes. I like to be jumping in and out with small portions of my portfolio, right? I have a larger hodling value investing portfolio that I'm not touching right now. I'm just hodling, letting it do its work, right? Letting the value investments accrue value over time. But I also have a trading portfolio where I'm looking to jump in and out. Currently in Terra Luna, got in down at this no, lower than that. Got it down here at $39, right? Sold half at 75, jumped back in at $54, right? Currently holding, looking at these price targets of $90 and $120, right? If you didn't get into Terra Luna, you could absolutely justify trading the breakout. But again, like I said at the beginning of the segment, you put a stop loss in below the previous all-time high, right? So it looks like right now on the 4-hour chart, Terra Luna has broken above, made a new all-time high, right? Where's it probably going to come down to? Probably making support on its previous all-time high at roughly $78, $79. So if we get some confirmation on that level and we start to see it go up again, we start to see some green candles start printing after $78, yes, you can jump in, but where would you want to put your stop loss? Down here, like I said, probably a pretty tight stop loss down here at $77, $76, so that if Bitcoin goes down to 44K, or if Terra Luna is just too overextended and is due for a 33% correction, you get stopped out. You get stopped out, and then you can rebuy down here at these support levels, right? If it comes down. AVAX, reverse head and shoulders. In here we go, zoomed out. Reverse head and shoulders pattern is in play right now. We had our left shoulder, our head down here, left shoulder, our head, and we appear to have completed our right shoulder or be completing our right shoulder. We could come down here and test this level a little bit, but if we break out above, say, $117, this previous high over here, and we make a new higher high, that would be extremely bullish for AVAX and would very likely be followed up by a pump above previous all-time highs, right? So this pattern, measuring your downtrend line, watching for the breakout, looking for support on the other side of it, bump and run over and over and over again, has proven with solid cryptocurrencies to be very, very profitable, right? You could have bought on this downtrend line earlier today at about $102, and you're already up 12, 13%. If you're trading on 2 or 3x leverage, that's a 36+% trade, right? Just very, very basic technical analysis here to be very, very profitable in an otherwise volatile market. I want to go over Matic. As Bill mentioned, this is the last one I'm going to go over before we jump into Crypto Showdown and Altcoin Overtime with Bill. Buying on the trend line. Guys, if you tuned into the live stream last week and the week before, what was I saying? I was saying buy on the trend line with Matic. We're on the trend line. It's very profitable historically to buy on the trend line. It's Matic, in this case, has given us tons of opportunities to buy on the trend line. There's no guarantee that it's going to give us another opportunity to buy in the trend line. But if it does, I'll be down here. I'll be buying on the trend line as long as this trend line is valid. Could we break this trend line and go lower? Yes, absolutely. But that's why you throw in a stop loss, right? To stop your loss. In the meantime, you're able to take profits when it bounces. You're able to take profits and pay yourself when it bounces. These have all been very, very profitable trades if you bought on the trend line, right? So what if you buy on the trend line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, you've had 6 profitable trades. So what if on the 7th time you get stopped out for, whoops, if I can grab my tool here, for 15%. So you get stopped out for 15% one time, but you made 30% on this trade, 40% on this trade, right? 20, 30% on this trade, 15% on that trade, 5% on each of these trades. You've made 2 or 3x just trading, especially if you're trading on leverage, and you get stopped out once. And that's just from buying on a trend line. There's nothing fancy about this. This is just being smart, picking good projects, and buying on the trend line, right? Or buying on these support levels as it comes back down to test at $1.72, right? We use our margin pressure levels to know where's it going to be safe to buy or where's the lowest risk place to buy. $1.72, the overlap of our uptrend line, right? Our trend line and our margin pressure level, right? So I know a lot of people, when the price action's headed down, everybody likes to be bearish and everyone gets afraid. But what I'm trying to say here in the segment is that if you can identify strong support levels in good projects, you can actually set yourself up to be quite profitable. Now, buying Matic at $2.16, to be quite honest, it does not look nearly as attractive to me. At $1.74, it's very attractive. At $2.16, I don't really want to buy it. I want to wait for it to come back down to this trend line, and I'll buy it all day at $1.88, right? But if you haven't been buying this trend line, just know that this could be the time that it breaks, right? But you want to be buying it every time so that if you're right 7 out of 8 times, or you're only wrong 1 out of 8 times, you're profitable. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful. These are the levels that I'm personally looking out for, and I've got skin in the game, guys. I'm trading these. I'm literally in a Luna trade. I'm in a Mana trade. I'm in a Sandbox trade. I'm in a Matic trade, and I'm using these levels. So these are the levels. If I lose money, if you lose money, I'm losing money too, right? I'm getting stopped out. But if you're making money, I'm making money too. These are the levels that I'm personally using. All right.
Token Metrics is a cryptocurrency investment platform that helps users leverage machine learning to become better crypto investors. Our in-depth analysis helps eliminate the emotions of investing, find profitable investment opportunities, and filters out scams. Learn more at tokenmetrics.com.